Ryan, we've got obviously the Rugby Championship finale in Salta where the Springboks will be in action. It's the big game that we'll all be looking at, but rather quietly on a Friday afternoon, there's also rather the not so small matter of Siya Kolisi in all likelihood making his return to action. And I think we just want to touch on that subject and maybe look into it a little bit more, in that Kolisi's been out of action for a good few months. In the meantime, the Boks have obviously expanded that leadership group of theirs and done really well in his absence. But this, for me, is a massive game for him, just in terms of not only showing that he's able to get back onto the field and get some mileage under the belt, but also to really quickly find some form. It's not that far away, that World Cup. I think last week was just 50 days to go, so it's really around the corner. Kolisi has a Currie Cup game and then a return game against Argentina in Pretoria, which I think will be of even more importance for him. I'm interested to hear what you think about Kolisi's position and that battle that he's undoubtedly going through in terms of not only proving his fitness, but proving that he's got a bit of form. And I watched him in Western Province training this past week, and you can see he's still got that a bit of that knee injury or the lasting effects of it. He didn't look like he was running quite at 100%. So it's good news that he should be making his return, but a lot for him to do in these next couple of weeks, and they're massive for him.
Yeah, so my perspective is if you're going to invest in him in a Springbok context, then you've got to kind of compromise a little bit, in so much as like he doesn't play for Western Province this week and he doesn't play for the Springboks next week if he's still carrying a niggle. So if he's going to the World Cup and that is set, you kind of gamble and go like, okay, like we're going to get into the World Cup in the best possible shape that he can be, and know that what we sacrifice in potential form, we make up for in having a fully fit Springbok captain there. So it concerns me that you saw him, like maybe showing a little bit of the effects of that knee injury, and I doubt that we're filming this on a Tuesday now, so in 4 days time, that things are going to change like dramatically. It really worries me. But I mean, over and above that, like we've had this conversation before about like, he comes back and then where does he play? Where does he play? Like, I understand, like, if we invest in him and you go like, he's our skipper, he starts, like, great. But if that's still kind of up in the air and debatable, then that opens a whole new kind of avenue of discussion, because I wouldn't know where he plays. Yeah,
and as we were chatting a bit off air as well, it's not only Siya who's kind of been in that race against time to prove his World Cup fitness. Another former captain, Warren Whiteley's, just had so many struggles, also with injury niggles that have just not cleared up. For him, I hear he's probably not going to make his comeback this weekend. For me, that probably brings in all likelihood the end to his World Cup race, because I just don't think there's going to be enough time for him to kind of show that those same elements of fitness and form. I think Marcel Coetzee will be viewed as the backup number 8, and potentially Francois Lowe if need be. I think it's really unfortunate for Whiteley, because I just think as that roaming, linking number 8, I think he offered a completely different option to Dwayne Vermeulen, perhaps in horses for courses selections that may have come up in a World Cup. So I think he's going to battle to make it, and unfortunately in the same breath, I think Damien Willemse, who's still not quite recovered, I think it's also a knee injury. Probably the one talented utility back that many saw as the backup option to Willie Leroux. I think he's struggling now to make that World Cup squad, which is at the end of August.
Yeah, look, Whiteley for me is a major concern. You say he might struggle to make the World Cup. I hope it's not true, but I can't see him actually having his career going on for much longer. He's had chronic issues with injury now, and serious injuries, and they've recurred at an alarming rate. So I pray for his sake that there's some sort of medical intervention that gets him back on the park and playing consistently. But it's hard to see that now. Like, you just see the history of his injuries, and the nature of those injuries, and you kind of go like, damn, this guy might be in trouble. So again, my hope is that there's a medical intervention, that he sees a specialist of sorts that can diagnose exactly what the nature of the problem or problems are, and then he gets back. but I can't see it. I can't see it happening.
Yeah.
Willemse is a frustrating one for me because I've backed him before as like one of the most gifted young players in the country, and his utility value is massive. And I would have liked to see him on a plane to Japan, but for him as well, he's in the same boat. Like I think there's too much that has emerged from this rugby championship for Rassie to go like, I'm going to hold on for Damien.
Yeah.
I just think he's got cover in all of the positions that Willemse covers, like quality cover, and I think that time has run out on Willemse, which is unfortunate.
Yeah, I think that that element of time running out for the players we mentioned, and undoubtedly a few more on the fringe, is just the fact that, as you say, the first two rugby championship games, there's really been no one who's done any harm to their reputation.
Yeah.
And then in most cases, the guys that have come back from overseas or back from injury, whatever it may be, have enhanced their reputations. I think a big game or big element of this Saturday's game in Salta will really also be just what squad they're going to go with. So we're forming on a Tuesday and Wednesday evening South African time. They'll name the squad to face Argentina. The word from the Boks camp seems to suggest it'll be the best available side, which then leaves maybe the experimentation for the game in Pretoria against Argentina.
Yeah.
So I think Rassie's kind of identified the two squads that he's going to work with, and perhaps either in this game or the next one have a look at the guys who are still maybe just 50-50 and then settle on that final 31. I just think there's almost too much competition for the guys who are battling with injuries for anyone to go as a passenger to the World Cup, and I think that's going to be the make or break factor.
Yeah, agreed. And we spoke last week about we spoke about what does Rassie do for this last test now? Does he stick to the plan or the original plan that was kind of out there was to play his best against New Zealand, to play the fringe players against Australia, his best against New Zealand, and then have the fringe players return for this game on Saturday. And things seem to have changed now, which I'm absolutely fine with, and I'm sure you are too. I mean, there's a chance for some silverware. That's never hurt anyone, and so I think that the game at Loftus is a perfect opportunity to kind of work out those kind of finer details. But I've got no problem with us going for the trophy. There is zero downside unless you believe in the rugby championship curse being the side that has won it is never gone on to win the trophy. But yeah, I think that's all nonsense. So yeah, I'd love to see how they come out this Saturday. I mean, the Argentina showed against the All Blacks that at their home ground they're something else, and I think they'll ask some hard questions of the Springboks, and no victory, and I think they will win. Should not Argentina, sorry, the Boks. Yeah. No victory there should be underplayed because it's a tough place to win.
Yeah. I think I'll just wrap on that note. I think we've seen that the Boks, when playing in Argentina, have struggled. It's often been a bit of a banana peel sort of destination for them, with a hostile crowd that they find in Argentina. I think it will be a massive confidence boost to the Boks, not only win, but win playing the sort of brand that they have shown against Australia and the All Blacks, and win comfortably by 10-15, because we've often seen how it just degenerates into a bit of a scrap and an arm wrestle. So I think even a 3-point win, it's not going to do that much for them, but I think if they go there, get a bonus point, wrap up the championship title, I think the Boks are capable of that. I think that's why they'll go with their best available side. I see them winning probably by 10, and I think that will really just set the perfect platform for the World Cup.
Agree completely. Again, our history there isn't great, but I think there's something about this group, man. And although winning in New Zealand will always be significant and the most significant thing in a Boks context, winning in Argentina against this Puma side is no mean feat.
Great, cool. Thanks, Ryan.